Hey friends, I'm Dr. Molly Braitman. I'm a small animal veterinarian near Nashville, Tennessee. And this is a show for people who like their pets, love to laugh, and realize that life is hard, but dogs and cats help. I love veterinary medicine. I'm probably already obsessed with your pet, and I want you to understand more about both of those things. So welcome to the Dr. Molly Says podcast. And today we have a guest. This is my friend, Dr. Ranetta Perkins.
Hello.
And she is also here in Nashville, and we've known each other for a couple of years now. We kind of knew who each other was because the vet world is small.
Yeah, social media.
And we're both from Middle Tennessee. And we met really like a year and a half ago at our first companion project clinic.
Yes.
She and some other staff from her practice here in Nashville volunteered. They came and worked the clinic. And so we got to meet each other.
Great experience.
It was. We'll definitely talk about it today. And so we just have kept in touch since then, and just excited to have her on today. We have lots of things to talk about. So I want to start with just who you are, and you can tell us a little bit, just like where you're from, who you are, what you do now.
Okay. I am a native Nashvilleian. I am born and raised here. Born in Vanderbilt Hospital, raised in North Nashville my entire life. Went to high school at Hume Fogg right downtown where my clinic is located, Little Urban Vet Clinic in downtown Nashville. That was actually very important and intentional for me to be downtown because I was the first clinic to go into the downtown area to provide services for all the new people that live there. I have been a veterinarian. I went to Cornell vet school in 2005, graduated in 2009, and I have been practicing since. And always loved, but had to grow into myself as a veterinarian and the way I like to practice and what feels good for me.
Yeah.
And it's practice ownership. It's just kind of like my happy place.
Yeah.
I still enjoy. Like last weekend, I did a shot clinic. Just kind of dibbling and dabbling. I still do relief at emergency clinics on the weekend. So I do like to do that because I spent a lot of time being an emergency veterinarian.
Yeah.
And I like to keep some of those skills because I don't see that in my day practice. So I just want to be the most well-rounded, best vet that I can.
A Renaissance veterinarian. That's what you are.
I don't know.
A little bit of everything.
A little bit of everything.
So when I got your full bio, I didn't know some of these things. So I was excited to hear about them. So, and since there's a lot of pet owners listening,
yes,
I think it's important for them to realize all the different things that a veterinarian can do in 15 years you've been a vet? So
Yep. 16
now. So you went to Cornell, which by the way is like very, very big, fancy, important, hard vet school. It's like that Ivy League vet school.
You know what? I thought it was a big deal till I moved back to Tennessee and nobody cares. They say, did you go to UT?
They're like, oh, you didn't go to Tennessee.
You can't get in. I'm like,
So I'm here to tell you, if your vet says they went to Cornell, that's a big deal. So you went to Cornell and you went to undergrad in
Baltimore. At Morgan State University in Baltimore, Maryland.
Very cool. And just this Nashville gal went up to the Northeast.
Exploring the world.
So you went to vet school at Cornell and then you came back to this area.
Yes.
And you have done shelter medicine, emergency medicine, lab animal medicine, which I really want to talk about, and also GP, small animal practice, and you own a practice now. So we'll talk all about Little Urban Vet Clinic. But tell me about lab animal medicine. And that I didn't know that was kind of recent.
So yes, recently, within the last 5 years, I spent a couple years working at Meharry Medical College. It is a small medical college, historically Black in Nashville, Tennessee, kind of in the Fisk area or TSU part of town, Northwest. And it was an interesting position because I fell into that job because the previous owner of Harris Animal Clinic, who's now retired,
Dr. Harris,
he was working in that role kind of as their emergency contact. He wasn't on staff as much. Well, he was retiring and he just visited my clinic one day and said, hey, I don't want this job anymore.
Do you want
it? And so when I reached out to them, they were like, hey, we'll just have you as an emergency contact. We have to have like someone for staff to contact, but would you like to expand that role and actually come on as on staff. And so I was like, okay.
Yeah.
So I was part-time, a day a week for 2 years. And so on my off day from the clinic, I would be at Meharry.
So you owned a practice at the time.
Yes.
And just did lab animal medicine on the side.
Animal medicine on the side.
It was a medical college, it is, and you told me it was mice, right?
Mice. So we only had mice at the time that I was there.
Yeah.
But I have a secret passion for lab animals. So all of my vet school experience, pre-vet experience, like my summer jobs, I was in a lab. I spent a summer at CE Court Lab, dissecting, doing path stuff, cutting in brain sections, whatever, running tests, brucellosis testing.
So
We're
cool.
a brucellosis-free state.
Yes. Thank goodness. I practiced in Colorado, which is not, but yes.
But I was at Vanderbilt. I did projects. I spent a summer at St. Jude doing ferret research. So I just did all kinds of lab stuff. So I thought I was going to be a lab animal vet.
Yeah.
And I just pivoted in vet school. I really loved small exotic animals.
Yeah.
My first practice, I used to, and early on in my career, I saw a lot of exotics because it was closer to my education on that.
Yeah.
And over the years, at one point during my career, I was at, I worked at the Blue Pearl in Skokie, Illinois, just north of Chicago. And it was in the same building at that time as an exotics animal practice. And so we took care of any exotic emergencies that came in at night and anything that was in the hospital overnight. So I really got to
how you learn quick.
Flex my muscle on that.
Yeah.
But once I was no longer there, I kind of,
wasn't doing it as much.
I don't do it as much.
Do you see exotics at Little Urban?
I will see small mammals. I have a staff member that is wild about reptiles and all of that stuff. And so she is a wealth of knowledge.
Yeah.
Her name is Caitlin. So when she's there, we'll see. We'll see your snakes when she's on set.
Okay.
When she's there.
Yeah.
But
I worked in a practice very short time in Dixon near here. And it's called All Animals. And so they would see anything.
Yeah.
And so they would see exotics, and they got a lot from the local pet store. And it's not for me. I was like, guys, I love animals, but it is not my inclination to save a snake. So
it's very difficult because you have to MacGyver everything.
Yeah.
You have to do math, lots of dilutions.
And I was always paranoid I'm going to give something that's going to kill it,
So you have to look up the dosages, look up I still have an exotic animal formulary and a book.
Yeah.
Because I've seen one snake in the last 5 years at Little Urban. I've seen some rabbits.
Yeah. Yeah.
A rare guinea pig.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much, probably 10 in 5 years. Not much.
So in the lab at Meharry, it was all mice.
All mice.
And you were just making sure everybody, welfare's good, everybody, nobody's sick, and just kind of checking on things a day or two a week.
Yes. And I had to, so basically, we would mark the staff would go through and they would mark anybody that needed vet attention for me on the days that I came in. And then I would look at all those pets, prescribe them treatments. And then, if it was something that needed my assistance, I would assist them to do the treatment.
So it's all little, mice,
tinies.
Little bitty mice.
Yeah, just a handful.
Yeah.
But mice, and that was it. And that was straightforward.
Yeah. And you did that for 2 years. Okay. So cool. And I just think it's so interesting. I would not be good at that either because mice, they're cute, but
you
get used to it.
You have to train yourself not to flinch because you will toss them.
Oh, right.
Because they bite. Because they're not necessarily used to being handled like a owned mouse.
Yeah.
And I owned a rat for many years when I was in vet school.
Okay,
so that's what I'm saying. I'm just inclined towards those types of animals. But I had an albino rat named Pinky.
Oh my gosh.
For 2.5 years.
Just she Pinky in the brain.
Yes, Pinky in the brain.
Okay.
So I really enjoy the rodents. But
did you have any growing up? As a kid? No. Okay. Oh, that's so.
Just in the field.
Well,
behind
and
the
mice
house.
just like, I think they're so cute, but they just move
They
fast.
do. They move very fast. They can startle easily, and you have to get a good grip if you're holding them without hurting them. Of
Right.
course.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So cool.
Yeah.
Okay. So I would love to just dive into what you do mostly now, which is own a small animal practice,
Mhm.
like you said, in downtown Nashville,
Yes.
little urban. So tell us how that came to be.
Well, I was always convinced I was going to be an owner. Like, I I tried to
Same.
do a plan.
Yeah.
Like I even somewhere there's a notebook that says that I'm going to own a practice that I started in 2010,
Okay.
and it just was a long time coming.
Yeah.
And the first time around I was funded and it was in 2012.
Okay.
So very early in my
Yeah.
career. I really chickened out. So I got the loan.
Okay.
I started looking for a space.
Yeah.
I just panicked
Uh-huh.
because I wasn't working full time at the job. I was like really dedicating all my time to this.
Yeah.
And it was just, it doesn't move as fast as you think it's going to move.
Yeah.
So it's going to, and I learned that because, and so I said, okay, this is not the right time.
Yeah.
I'm not ready. You know, there was lots more for me to learn. And this was before I had done any emergency medicine, was where I got most of my knowledge and like quick thinking skills. So I really needed to do that. So it made sense.
The timing always works out.
It wasn't right. So I said, keep your money.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to come back to this.
Yeah.
And so then fast forward 2018, I tried again, got the funding, and then I started. So summer of 2018 until January of 2020 was how long it took me. So you have to be planning in that, working somewhere, doing relief, having like the finances. So it's not it's not something that just like pops up.
There's so much that goes into it.
There's so much that goes into it. There's so much you don't know.
Yeah.
Because you can't just open a book and read a book on it.
Right.
You have to find out from other people that own practices.
Mentors, people who know what they're talking about, have done it before.
That also have your same values, because I have had people to want to give me advice that don't have the same outlook on what I want to do as a practice owner. And so I have to not listen to that.
Yeah.
I have to not listen to that.
Yeah.
So it took that entire time, took a year and a half.
Yeah.
And so I had to find a space.
Yeah.
I had to, you don't think about what do you want the floor to look like?
Well, and you have to tell the bank everything.
Tell the bank everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah, it's a lot.
It's a lot.
Okay. So beginning of 2020, you opened. Great timing.
Had no idea the pandemic was coming.
Nobody did. Well, yeah.
So what was crazy is that there was that really bad hurricane that happened in March. So we were just kind of cursed that year.
Right.
So and right following behind that was the pandemic, COVID.
Yeah.
And so what we closed for, the way we did the closure, we closed for like 2 weeks, back open for 2 weeks, closed for 2 weeks, back open for 2 weeks.
Oh,
for like the first couple months. Okay. Just trying to figure out like, I didn't really know what to do.
I'm just thinking about you as a brand new practice owner. Because like I was at Parker's, which is a well-established privately owned practice in Nashville when COVID happened, and it was such chaos. I don't think we ever actually closed, but we had there was a huge staff there. Yeah. So we rotated staff. So what we ended up doing was we had like one staff would work a week and then the next staff would work the next week. So it wasn't the same amazing. People.
At the time, it was just me.
Yeah.
I now have a part-time veterinarian. I didn't have her.
Right.
Then. So just me. I had 4 staff members, 2 of them part-time, so 2 full-time, 2 part-time, and we just had to just make it work.
Yeah.
And so
you were at least busy, I'm sure.
We were. So not initially. I started
probably because you were brand new.
0 clients.
Right.
I didn't take any client from anywhere.
Right.
I have one client that follows.
I'm just like thinking about 2020, Ranetta, and I'm stressed for you, even though it already happened. Like it was fine, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I
Okay.
had one client, Heather Garrett. She has followed me since.
Heather, shout out.
She
The
has,
OG.
yeah, she's the OG. She's
Yeah.
been with me.
Client number uno.
Oh no, number one.
Yeah.
She's followed me from relief jobs back in when my son was born in 2015. So when I was doing relief, she found me then, and then she just popped around town with me until I opened up my clinic.
I have been accused of being a job hopper. I've practiced at like 6 different places, but I have those clients that have followed me everywhere, and they're so special. I appreciate it. So
I've
nice.
been at a bunch of different places.
Yeah,
too,
I
so
know. We have that in common, don't we? I might be accused of that.
No telling. I mean, out the state, all up and down the coast.
Yeah, you've done even more than me. I mean, I have practiced in 2 states, Colorado too. But and people are like, "Oh, that's that." Some people I think feel like that's not a good thing. But I don't know if you feel the same way. But for me, I just feel like I've learned so much from being in so many different environments. Now, most of mine have been GP practice, but I have seen so many things from employers and coworkers that I don't ever want to do. Yeah. And plenty of other things that I do want to do. And one day when I own a practice, I can't wait to like put all of those things I've learned together into this one unicorn concept, which I think is what you've done, which I'm so excited to talk about. So, okay. So 2020 Ranetta was stressed. So COVID happened.
Yes. Then we developed it's like divine intervention the way I designed the clinic because it has all glass storefront. So when you come in the front door, there's no walls on the exam rooms on this side that faces the lobby. It's glass. So the way we did it was you bring your pet in. So your pet's in the room, you're in the lobby to create some distance from the pet parent.
So they were in the building.
So not initially. For a short period of time, they were dropping off. Yeah.
Which everybody did.
Which everybody was doing. And then when we moved to them being inside, they would sit in the lobby and they would watch us do the exam, draw the blood, do all the things in the exam room. But full disclosure as to what was happening.
Completely divine intervention.
Yeah. I know. I'm like, because we have I don't
believe in coincidences.
Because it's only 1,300 square feet. Yeah. So we can't be 6 feet apart.
Right.
So that worked out.
You also can sort of see everything.
You can see everything. So you're just right there. There's a glass front. You can see what we're doing. Yeah. We do everything right there in front of you. And we try to do that anyways with everything. And I spent a lot of time during my preparation for opening my clinic at a fear-free practice. And that was big, doing everything in front of pet parents. And so I've adopted that. And so even when I see my staff members bring a pet out of the room, I'm like, why'd you bring that pet out the room? I'm like, did the owner say they couldn't handle the blood draw? Why? Yeah. Take them back in there. I don't want them to be suspicious. Right. I don't want the pet to be more stressed in the back. That whole, and I've seen some stuff in the back. So, yeah.
Same. Yeah.
I don't want people to ever think that of my team.
Yeah. And I think, I'm so glad we're talking about this because I do think COVID, there's so much that happened in the veterinary world surrounding COVID that I think has affected our profession. Yeah. Some good, some bad. And I think that part of the bad is that because so many pet parents for so long, and there's some practices who are still curbside.
Yeah, it's like, why?
They got separated from their pets. And hindsight's 2020. We did the best we could with the information we had in front of us. There's a lot of that with COVID. But pet owners got separated from their pets and the whole clinic became the back in a lot of places. And so there was this mystery. And then at the same time, our industry kind of boomed. Yeah. Some other things have happened. Corporate buyouts are happening. Prices are going up. That kind of really ramped up surrounding COVID.
It did.
And I think those two things hand in hand, like the loss of transparency and then some of those changes have impacted the just like kind of big picture relationship between pet parents and veterinarians.
It's built a lot of distrust.
Yeah, I think so. I would love to know if like pet parents feel the same way, if that has contributed. But I love that Little Urban was like just happened to have that
set up.
Yeah,
that we could
so you could achieve both things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So we got through the pandemic. Your practice stayed open.
We made it.
You made it.
Yes.
But you probably honestly got more clients in the beginning than you would have.
So it's been interesting. I did, because I've been looking a lot at my like numbers lately. I kind of spiked up really quickly, probably faster than typical, but then it's kind of mellowed.
Yeah, like plateaued.
And I think that's because I have a lot more competitors because of how Nashville has boomed. Many other clinics have opened in my area,
right?
And corporate clinics, which
you're not the only option anymore.
I'm not the only option anymore.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately, it was a good idea.
Don't worry.
But
yeah. So, okay. And so now, so that was 2020. So 5 years later, here we are.
Yeah.
It's you and you have a part-time vet.
I do.
What's your vet's name?
Dr. Walton.
Dr. Walton. Yes.
Ariel Walton.
Okay. Ariel Walton. And where'd she go to vet school?
She went to Tuskegee.
Okay. Oh, love that.
And she actually, and I think she came out in 2016.
Okay.
And she has a mobile, she has House Paws acupuncture, mobile acupuncture clinic.
Okay.
And so she does. So she does that. She works for me 2 days a week, and then she does that her other time.
Yeah. And then how much support staff do you have now?
I have 5 staff members.
One of them is Danica.
One of them is Danica.
I used to work with her.
Yes.
I was so excited when I saw she was with y'all now. Yeah.
So were you at Parker's Sprouts with her or somewhere else?
Okay. Yeah, we worked together at Parker's. Yeah. For a couple years.
She was there
Danica.
for a long time. She's awesome.
Yeah.
She's a great addition. She's our newest staff member.
Yeah.
We have 4 staff members that have been with me for a really long time. They've been there. 3 of them have been there for 5 years. 1 has been there for 3, almost 4.
Oh, that's great.
And then there's the one spot that Danica's in now that has kind of rotated a little bit.
Yeah.
Like every 1 or 2 years, there'll be another person in that position. But for the most part, we're hoping that she will stay.
Oh,
but
yeah.
I really, really, really try to keep my team because it makes a difference. Pet parents come in, they know there's a familiar face. Oh, we're such and such. And they don't like when someone's different. And we try to doesn't know them by name.
For sure.
So we try to work really hard to have retention and keep people happy.
Yeah.
So,
and I love that because I think more practices are emphasizing their support staff, like so that pet owners know who is the vet nurse, vet tech, vet assistant helping with my pet today. And they should be communicating with the clients just as much as we are, if not more.
Oh, yeah.
And doing a lot of the educating.
They're highly leveraged. They're in there talking and chatting, getting to know them, playing with the little sweet little baby dogs and cats.
Yeah.
And so definitely getting a lot of FaceTime with owners. And so especially because it enriches their experience. And so if they've had a good experience on the phone, they've had a good experience with the technician, they've had a good experience with me or my associates. So we're just trying
think a lot of pet owners don't really understand the plight of the vet tech and vet assistant and why there's so much turnover. And it says so much about you that you retain that staff for so long. So it means that you're treating them the way they want to be treated. Oh, yeah. Because otherwise they would leave.
I listen to them where we work together. I do not raise my voice. I'm not getting upset with them.
I literally don't understand that. It is rampant, like in vet and human medical fields. Like especially social media, hear about, oh, my doctor screamed at me today. I'm like, I have literally never yelled at a staff member ever or somebody else that I work with. Like, I don't understand.
I don't understand it. If I want to yell at somebody, I'll wait and yell at my husband.
There you go.
But no, they don't deserve that. They don't come to work for that. Yeah. That is not going to make them feel good. That's not going to make you get your job done better.
It doesn't help.
So but because I don't yell, they know my stern voice. And so I'll be like, we need to talk. And they'll be like, oh, gosh.
Oh, no.
And so, but that's better because it's like, I'm respecting them. And then I don't sweat the small stuff. I'm not writing somebody up for a small mistake.
Yeah.
I'm just like, okay, let's move on.
Yeah.
It's not, I'm not going to create an atmosphere where they're afraid to learn because they don't want to mess up.
Right.
So they don't want to do.
Right.
Which some people, I've worked places before where people say, I don't want to do surgery because it's hard and I don't want to mess up and I don't want to be in trouble. Well, let's teach you in a safe space.
Yeah.
And so that's the environment that I'm trying to create.
I love that. Yeah. Oh, that's so great. And you see dogs and cats mostly.
Dogs and cats mostly, but I'm willing
to see other things.
If Caitlin's there.
If Caitlin's there. Okay.
But yeah, I don't want to like exert myself on the exotics because it is a lot of research.
Yeah, you have to, and you don't want to like advertise, oh, I'll see exotics, and then you don't
and
really
they bring them in, I'm like
let me go Google what I'm
let me get my book out.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just want to cats and dogs for the most part.
Primarily.
Yes, primarily.
And so let's talk about being in downtown Nashville because there are things that go with that. And there are other practices around you now, but I would love to know like what you think makes Little Urban different from a lot of the practices.
I would say Little Urban is currently the only independently owned practice in the downtown area.
Yeah.
The others that have cropped up are not. They are corporately owned.
Yep.
And then and
I worked at one of them.
Yeah.
Close.
Yes. They're kind of my arch nemesis. I won't name them, but
let's talk about the Google thing really quick.
Actually,
let's talk about it in a second. I'll remember to bring it back up.
They just waged war against my little baby clinic, and I don't know why.
Yeah, we'll talk about it in a second. It's called desperation, but we'll talk about it in a second. So, so there's others have popped up. They're corporately owned, so different
and they've
models.
Purchased some that were community, like 5 Points is a community entrenched clinic, and it's now corporately owned.
Yeah.
So things like that, and you're like, well, people don't always know that.
Yeah. No, because when practices get purchased, the name doesn't change.
No, the name doesn't change. And
so the ownership changes and it's not announced.
Yeah.
So it's hard for pet owners to know what happened, what happened.
Yeah.
Or when it happened or what that means for them.
Yeah. And so I don't know if that's it's not illegal for sure.
Yeah.
There's nothing illegal about it, but it is not transparent.
Yeah.
So, but it is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. So that is a great, unique thing about your practice is that you own it. You're in the building. You're local. It is the community. Yeah.
It's in the community. We are not a one-size-fits-all practice.
Yeah.
Wanting to offer best medicine, but I'm also not. I've worked in I worked in a clinic. I worked in an emergency clinic in Louisville, Kentucky, like near the state line.
Yeah.
And in the middle of the night, we had an array. It was like on the outer loop of people that are driving down, coming from wherever, and their finances are going to be in a range.
Right.
And so I feel like that was early in my career as well. That was where I really learned to like make it work.
Yeah.
And so I have carried that forward and being like, okay, like what can we do?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe you can't do this, but let's do something.
Here's what the textbook says. This is what I say to my client.
Yes.
Here's what the textbook or vet school says we should do for your pet in this situation. But that would cost XYZ. And so if that doesn't work for you, let me know and we can talk about other options.
Yeah. I will never, ever say out of my mouth, there's nothing I can do for your pet.
Right.
Because there's always something. I can always do pain medication.
Yeah.
I can always do supportive care.
Yeah.
Like there's always something to be done.
Yeah.
If you're worried about your pet and you bring them to see me, you want some treatment and I can do that for you.
Yeah. And then there is some unhoused population around your practice. And I know that we've talked about that that some of those people are your clients. And I would love to know as much you want to share about that. Just I know it's, a unique population of clients because they don't have homes. And a lot of those people have pets that are so important for them and their mental health. It's their companion. So
and
tell us about it.
I have a lot of feelings about this because I don't feel like that those pets should be taken away from those people just because they are in a situation.
Yeah.
at this time because we don't know how long they've had those pets and how important they are to them.
Right.
So there used to be, and I hate that it's kind of, I feel mixed about it being gone, but there was a community called Tent City that was, my clinic backs up to the river, and right behind where my building is, it's like a ravine.
Yeah.
And that's where the tents were. Yeah. So you could walk you could just walk a little bit, maybe half a mile up the road from my clinic and turn left and go down to the riverside. And that's where it was. And
probably full of dogs, right?
Full of dogs.
Yeah.
We met a breeder from down there.
Yeah. Okay. No.
So
I have feelings about that, but yeah.
There was a guy breeding pit bulls down there, and then he was kind of basically he was supplying the community down there with dogs. I know. And he was very passionate about his dogs because we saw him a couple times because one time one of his dogs was hit by a car. We had to euthanize it. And another time he was just kind of coming by asking, had a wound, just wanted to talk to us. So we don't, I haven't there. So some of the unhoused community has changed. It used to be very much the same people. Yeah. Like, almost like they were our neighbors. We would see the same people all the time.
You got to know them.
You got to know them. Yeah. And those would be the people that would come in all the time. Yeah. Regulars. So we would, there was a guy who used to wear a black leather trench, and he would be with his dog all the time. And we've vaccinated his dog before. Right. And there's like an older kind of small man, and he would have his dog with him. Now, his was an interesting story. His dog got into something and got very, very, very sick. And he came by and said, could we take care of it? And I said, if you can come up with the exam fee, I'll take care of it. He rallied his friends. He came back with like 4 friends that all loved this dog, and we did IV fluids. We did all of this stuff. We took care of him. And he literally came up with that $65. Okay. Which was shocking to me. Yeah. But then that's that's a big deal. Yeah. And so I was like, we took care of his pet for him. Because the commitment and to rally his friends to be able to do that for that pet to show. And then he came by later, just came by to let see the pet and then recovered.
And doing great.
Doing great.
And it highlights too, just like that's their community. And as a community, they care about the pets that are there. So so they shut it all. They kicked everybody out
over the summer, and we didn't even know what was happening. So I was like, I had heard Tent City's going to be gone. They're shutting it down, and I was like, what? So now it's more so we don't see the regulars.
It's just kind of random people passing through.
People passing through might have a dog with them. We used to have a dog that would get loose, every 6 weeks. Yeah. And we would just hold on to him, reach out to him. And he got so good at recovering his dog that we could take his dog to Metro and he would get it back. So they knew who he was. They would call him.
Here they are again.
And so we could it's like if we couldn't reach him, we knew that they could reach him and he would get his dog back. So
So when you have those clients, most of them, financially are going to struggle to pay for anything. So how do you handle that situation?
I usually just say, I know this sounds crazy, but I'll say, how much money do you have today?
Yeah. What's
the
budget?
I have $10. I say, okay. And I just take the $10.
And then do what you need to do.
Do whatever I need to do at the minimum. Yeah. And so then it's like, they don't even know how much it's supposed to cost because they don't. So I'm just trading. It's almost like I'm just trading some money for the service.
Right. So it's like you're like basically what's your what can you be responsible for this?
So we have a guy and he would come back and bring a couple more dollars. He would there was a guy we had locally. He had several dogs, which I hated. He had so many dogs. But he did he would always pay something. He knew we wanted him to bring money to his visits, and so he would always, and there would be something like they need to be dewormed or always minimal. Sometimes we have people come up and ask for bandage material because their dog has had an injury, or we had a dog roll down the side of a highway, an embankment, and we bandaged the wound and gave him stuff to change it, stuff to clean it, stuff like that.
Do you have an angel fund at the practice that people can donate to? No, you just make it work. Yeah.
I wish. we don't.
I just had a thought. I have a few followers.
Yeah.
And so because you do that, I think it'd be great if people want to
that would be
donate
amazing.
to that. We should set that up.
I should set that up. And every time I need it, I always say, I wish I had something.
Okay, we're going to do it.
Okay.
I will send you all away to donate to Little Urban's Angel Fund.
That really touches my heart.
Yeah, so that way they know they're donating to someone who is handling that responsibly and carefully and thoughtfully.
Yeah.
And, you should they should pay you what they can pay you.
Yeah.
And then a fund like that can help bridge the gap between what it actually costs you. So speaking of veterinary costs, let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Because, this is a good segue into private practice ownership. So you as just a person, Ranetta, owns a vet practice. And Dr. Crocker and I talked about this a little bit recently, just like people don't realize the cost that exists to just be a vet clinic. A human doctor recently posted on TikTok, which he has since said, okay, guys, I'm an idiot. I shouldn't have said that. Complaining about what it costs when he took his dog into an urgent care to get x-rays. And he does primary concierge type human medicine. And he's like, this doesn't cost me anything hardly. Why are vets charging all of this? So anyway,
he doesn't even have a brick and mortar.
Well, I think it's an office where people come, but he goes to them too. Yeah. So he
the overhead cost.
He apologized, and the online vet community educated him.
Okay.
So he was like, "Oh, I was unaware. I didn't think about that." So that just was last week. So I just think especially if an MD doesn't understand this concept, who works in medicine, the general population doesn't understand that. And there's a lot of stress and pressure on practice owners, especially a private practice owner like yourself, who is just a person, not a big private equity funded entity. You're just a person.
I'm just a person, and what's in the bank account is all there is. There's not anybody else that's going to support me when I'm in a tight spot with Little Urban but me.
Right.
And so I have to take it serious that I have staff members that rely on me.
Yeah.
And I can't let them down.
Right.
So I have to.
Yeah, it's not just your patients and your clients, it's your staff. Yeah.
Yeah. And they need me to be able to pay them livable wages. I'm very competitive with my wages. I pay them very well because I want the best and I want to keep the best. And so I want to offer them whatever benefits I can.
Right.
And I don't want them to be having to have a second job unless they have something that they're trying to make more. And I don't interfere with that either.
Right.
Because we're not open on the weekends. You do whatever you want.
You're not open on Saturday either.
Not open on Saturday, not open on Sunday. If they want to rue and do relief shifts, if they want to work whatever they want to do, they can. I'm not offended by that.
Yeah, yeah. And it's a difficult climate being a private practice owner right now because the cost to run a practice is getting
astronomical,
and it's getting higher.
Yeah,
with inflation in general, the just cost of all of your goods, all the
everything,
goods.
Even something as simple as I've noticed that my electric bill has been higher. And I'm in a very small space, so my electrical bill has always been really manageable, and it's been higher lately.
Yeah,
that's gone up. It's just everything's gonna climb. So I have to be able to take that into consideration. But at the same time, I am price sensitive because I was raised in humble beginnings. And I know my mom wouldn't have been able to afford a higher level of care for our pets.
Right.
So, and that's part of, I know this is off the topic, but that's part of what made me become a veterinarian, because I had dogs that received poor care as a child. And I committed myself to being better. So I said, when I grow up, I'm going to be a veterinarian, and I want to make sure other people can provide sufficient care for their pets, even if it's not A++.
Right.
They can be C-.
Yes.
And that's
fine. And be happy, healthy pets.
And that's happy, healthy pets living a normal lifespan and being happy and doing well. So I wanted to be able to provide that. So that's why I am very sensitive to the cost of things. And I struggle. My staff are like, raise the prices. Like, they're telling me to raise the prices because they're like, Dr. Perkins. I was like, I know. I was like, and every time I'm making an adjustment, I talk to them. I'm like, because they're the ones that are discussing these prices with pet parents, and I say, hey, I did a 6% increase. Let me know if you're getting any feedback. that. They don't like that. And then they're like, nobody cares. I'm like, okay. So
we're comfortable there.
We're comfortable there. So then, but the thing that is very, very, very important that I want to emphasize is that stopping when you're stopping there, right?
Yeah.
And not
like, it's like a tighter, like,
yes, you don't want to. So basically what can happen in not just vet med, I think in business in general, is that trying to figure out like the economics of it and what the market will bear and pushing your price to there.
Yeah.
And so then you are isolating a different demographic of client.
Yeah.
Because you are focusing on the ones that can afford more.
Right.
And that's not a place that I'm ready to be in right now.
Right.
Where I want to separate myself from other.
You don't want to price out.
I don't want to price out
certain clientele
because that's who my mission was to market to.
Yeah.
So it can be tough when you're trying to make those kind of decisions. It's like, okay, how can I make it?
Mean?
What is the medium? And so I just want pet parents to know that we struggle with these ideas of increasing price and what's the right price. How can I still pay my staff? How can I still be profitable at the same time? How can I be fair? Yeah. And that's kind of really the line to try to toe. Yeah. And I wish there was a book to tell me this is what everybody's charging. I probably still wouldn't charge that much, but just give me an idea of what makes sense. What makes sense, what's fair.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think I read comments on social media about all these things. And it's fascinating to me what people in the general public, like what they think is going on, because I do think this is an important thing to talk about, because sometimes I think people think vet clinics just raise prices just because, we're just going to raise prices because we can. But I think it's important that people realize in a lot of practices, especially like a privately owned practice, those prices get raised because you're spending more to be open.
Yes.
And so it's not just, I want to give people a bonus, so let's do that. It's like, no, the cost of this went up. And so I'm no longer making a profit on this, and I have to make a profit in order to pay my staff.
And to go along with that, so basically, since I've been a veterinarian, distributors have not charged fees on products.
Yes, this is important. Yes.
And in the last year, almost every single distributor will now charges either credit card fees, delivery fees, shipping fees. There's a handling fee. There's a fee. Yeah. So now we've got all this 1%, 2%, 3%. There's all these fees that we're eating. And so it's like, okay, so now what do I do with that? Do I increase my fees for all these products? Right. So now do
you add the credit card fee?
Do I? I do not add the credit card fee.
But that's what a lot of vet clinics are passing on to the clients, because it's been passed on to them.
It's been passed on to us.
Yeah.
And so I am so old fashioned with my perspective about this credit card fee thing. I will not pass it on. I will not, because I feel like
she said it here.
I said it here, so I have to keep it. It's so tacky.
I don't like it either. I know.
How can you expect somebody to spend $2,000 on a procedure and then 3%?
I know.
And the credit card companies charge, I don't know, I'm going to give this to you out.
Yeah.
They charge more to the client than they charge us. So they say, we'll charge you 1.5%, 2%, but if you let us transfer the fee, we'll charge them 3%.
I know. So it's interesting. My husband has a brother who was in merchant processing, who did this, which is a very random niche world. And my husband helped on the side some. They don't do that anymore, but we learned a lot about it. And it is very interesting. And when his brother started that, nobody was doing it. But now in the last couple of years, businesses have moved it. And one reason they say, this is such a random tangent, but one reason they say is because now all the credit card companies have all these reward systems. And so clients want to use their credit cards because they get points or
and then
travel,
they're
whatever.
How they want to transfer the cost somewhere. They're trying to eat the cost somewhere.
Money's just getting passed around. Yeah. And ultimately the credit card company is who's making it.
Yeah.
But it is getting
but
it's getting passed around. And that is, I'm so glad you said that, because that is a big deal with distributors. And it makes, I mean, like if you look at it on an annual basis, that's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money.
And it changes too the way you order because you get those fees every time you order. And so it's like, oh, we can't, like maybe we can't just order some more Apoquel real quick because we're going to have to, we may just need to wait 3 days until we're going to order everything else. So it changes the dynamic to a certain degree.
And then we try to be really tight on our goods that we're keeping on the shelf, our COGS, because we're a smaller clinic and the kind of the concept of products and merchandising and selling is that when your bill comes due, you should have made the money. So you don't want to buy something that's going to be on your shelf for 6 months and then it takes you that long to pay
for it.
You're basically eating the cost of that product until you sell it.
So you have to run a tight ship.
You have to run a tight ship. So we say, okay. So sometimes when my staff members will say, should I reorder this? I'm saying, when's the last time we ordered it? And if it's been 6 months, maybe we don't need that product anymore. You know, so, and then we send people to the online website and we have a pharmacy. We have 2 pharmacies.
Do you use VetSource?
I don't use VetSource.
Okay.
I use Vet Cove.
Okay. Yeah.
Online pharmacy. And I use, which is, I like their pharmacy because they really tailor to, you can modify things on the back end. So you can set your
like
price
what
point.
The clients see.
And no, the price.
Oh,
so you can give we can give rebates. We can set the price.
Okay.
We have a
so you can make them competitive.
I can make them competitive
with like Chewy or whatever.
I'm price matched on food. Except for that first order, like there's an initial order on Chewy where they give like just a random
like your initial
whatever
order.
Otherwise, the repeat orders are matched.
Okay, that's good.
I can do that versus I also have Blue Rabbit and you can't modify the prices. It just the price
that was
is the price.
One thing a practice owner I worked for did, like if a client wanted prevention and they're like, oh, well, I could get that cheaper on Chewy as long as it like covered her cost, she would just match the price. And I liked that because then it gave them the convenience.
But yeah, you can set it and it's just price tier. So you set the price and then it matches.
Yeah. You know, it's such a hot topic right now. Everybody's talking about people are going to get priced out of having pets. And I know you and I both feel very strongly about we don't ever want that to happen.
I don't even like the phrase owning pets is a luxury.
Right? No,
I
don't either.
I feel like it's like saying healthcare is a luxury because a lot of times people's pet is their, it's helping them stay calm. It's helping 100%. Them go through their day. It's their, some people's only companion. If they don't have children, they don't have a spouse, they're home alone, they have that pet there with them. And that's providing a lot of comfort and a lot of help for them.
Mental support.
And so I definitely, it's something that you need to plan for.
Sure.
And you need to.
And maybe you shouldn't have 5 dogs.
Maybe you shouldn't. If you are on a fixed budget, having a lot of animals can be irresponsible. But having a pet. Or a couple pets. For the typical adult, it should be manageable. And so we have to make that manageable. So whether they need to get insurance, they need to get a credit card, they need to, whatever they have to do to be able to have a credit card dedicated to that's not full. Whatever they need to do to
find out what are low cost services in their area. Like how can I get this done?
We have a list. We have a email that has just like 100 different services that we got at some point in time. People just sent us things. And we just say, hey, we just send it and say, hey, this is charitable organizations that you'll have to fill out applications. But if you want some money, the $100 here, $100 there, this is who you can go to. And I think that's one of the really special things about practices like yours, privately owned practices, because you can be creative. You can make exceptions. You can look at the human in front of you that has a sick pet and say, okay, I'll take your $10 and we'll figure something out. We'll make it work. I had a client the other day and he came in. He was new to us. He lives in the building and we also offer a discount in the building for services, 10% off. And so he came in and his pet was sick. I took care of it. He's at checkout. I have $100. I was like, and my team came back there. I was like, ugh. Like in the past when I've worked at corporate clinics, what we do is we just don't give them meds. So they have to go home, they don't get their meds, and they have to come back and pay when they can. And I've even heard of people saying you can't have your pet back until you solve this bill or we're going to call the police.
Right.
So I said, okay, he lives in the building. I literally can go knock on his door.
I can find him.
I can find him. I was like, we'll take your $100. You still get to take your meds. I was like, sir, but next time, please let us
Tell
know.
me up front.
And then what I can do is I can work around the budget that you have and not just run your bill up.
Yeah.
And every pet, and every pet that comes in gets an estimate. I make sure they get an estimate. And if I exceed the estimate, we have to discuss what to do beyond that, because I don't want to adjust. I don't want to mislead anybody.
Yeah. And I'm so glad you said that, because I've had people online ask or say, well, I want to tell my vet like that it's too much or whatever, but I feel judged. And I'm like, no. Well, like, first of all,
not every vet.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, I'm sure some people have felt judged and have been judged, but the majority of the actual like veterinarians and vet techs that are seeing that, not at all. We just want to know.
We just want to know.
We just want to know what we can work with.
If you come in the room and the first thing out your mouth is, I have $150. Oh, okay. Thank you.
Great.
And then I was like, I really appreciate that, because then I'm not going to overdo it.
Yeah.
And I don't want to exceed your budget. Yeah. I'm not going to say, I'm not going to do like, when you have a real estate agent and you say, I only have this much, and then they still take you to see a house.
Like the shows.
I'm not going to. Yes. At that point, I'm going to, anything that I have to recommend, I'll say, normally I would recommend this. I'm going to decline that. Normally I would say this. I'm going to decline that. Like, I don't even tell them the price because I don't want them to feel bad.
Right.
I just decline it out and say, okay, let's do this.
Yes.
And we work from there.
Yes. And this concept has a name. It's called Spectrum of Care.
Yes.
And thankfully, there's a movement right now of veterinarians in our field talking about this and talking about trying to get vet schools to teach this better, because they didn't when I was in school.
Yeah. It's an emotional intelligence thing. You have to read your client.
Yeah. You know what? I think the one thing I did that in my life that has helped me as a vet the most is work as a server in a restaurant. Yeah. Did you ever do that?
I never worked I worked in Honey Baked Ham.
Okay. A service industry.
I did. I worked in a call center.
Oh, you did? Okay. Okay. All right. Same, but different. Because when you wait a table, you immediately have to like read that table. Okay, do these people want me to chat with them? Yeah. Do they want me to just like get their order and leave them alone? And I think that is a skill that the best veterinarians have honed really well. And they pick up.
It takes time,
though. It does. And they pick up on clues. Like we can tell like someone, they don't want to talk about that or whatever. And I just think it is a really important skill, and Spectrum of Care is so important. And that's also a skill, the being able to have the mental gymnastic ability to say, okay, I know that my vet school taught me that I should do this for that problem. They can't afford that. Yeah. And so now what's the backup plan? And we're able to prioritize. Okay, we have $150. What's the most important diagnostic or treatment to do? And we go from there. And I do think being transparent about it, but respectful, like you said. Like, normally I would do this, but not talking about the money. But that's not going to fit in our budget today. So
maybe we can revisit that if things don't get better.
Yeah.
And then they kind of know, okay, these are the other ideas that she had.
Yeah.
And so they know that, okay, well, I can call her back and go back, or I can sometimes they'll just do a follow-up text. Hey, not getting better. We maybe should do those other things that the doc want to do.
Yeah.
And so then we know where to start.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, it's so important. And I'm so glad that you're here doing it. And I think it's important. I know you feel the same way, so I want you to talk about it. But like, that pet owners find, if that's what they want, not all corporately owned practice is bad, and not all privately owned practice is better or good even.
Right.
But I do think it's important for pet owners, and I know you do too, to understand what it means when they walk in a practice that's locally privately owned. Have you worked? You worked at Blue Pearl, so you've worked in corporate medicine.
And you know what? Blue Pearl was different.
Yeah,
like because it was, when I was there, it was before it was owned by Mars, so it was corporate, but it was not a conglomerate backed by just money, huge money. Yeah, so it operated to me more like a family owned business, and so don't know what it would be like now. I have done relief work they were bought out, but I've not been a staff member since then.
And I think it's important too for people to understand that the humans, the vets that are working in those practices, they're not focused on money,
corporations
or anything.
They're still, but my very first job was at a VCA, and it was kind of like the first in the area. So there was some community backlash. It was a 7-doctor practice, and it went like scattered. Like the vets left, the staff left, the receptionist left.
And that's not the only practice here where that has happened. But
yeah. So it's basically like they hadn't, because what they do is they don't tell you.
Yeah.
Because they worry about people leaving. So basically, all of a sudden, they present you with the non-compete to sign shortly before the closure on the practice. You sign the non-compete. You're like, I don't know what this is. You either sign it or you don't.
Yeah.
If you don't, you have to leave. If you sign it, you're locked in.
Yeah.
To what you don't know, because then a couple weeks later, now here's a new contract. We've been sold out. You know, we've been sold. We're owned by this corporation. You're like, what?
Yeah.
You know, it always comes down like a hammer. So keeping that in mind is they don't know.
No,
they
most of them didn't sign up for that.
They didn't sign up
if
for
their practice was
that.
bought,
And so it's kind of like, I just hate the way it affects. It has trickle-down effect because they do increase prices. They do kind of change the feel. They might have changed appointment times, change hours. They want everybody to work harder. And so it can affect the culture and just the overall satisfaction of people that are there.
Yeah, and there's nuance. Like I know of practices that, like I have a friend whose private practice was purchased by a corporate group a few years ago, and she's stayed, and she's had actually a great experience. And they've allowed, she's the medical director, but they've allowed her practice to have autonomy, and they allow for that creativity
in some of the smaller ones.
Yeah.
But I have, and that's amazing. And I guess that's kind of like, that would be the goal.
Right.
But what happens is that, like with everything, then the small ones get bought up by the bigger, and then that one gets bought up by
the bigger fish.
And then it just turns into a monopoly.
Yeah.
Almost.
Yeah.
And then it's very hard to compete.
Yeah. So let's talk about that. So you're a private practice owner trying to compete in an area where there's all these other corporately owned practices that are like new, and some of them are new and shiny. The one I worked at was like new and shiny, and the arch nemesis, new and shiny and pretty inside, and sounds really, really great. And there's really wonderful doctors that have worked there and do work there, and great support staff. But there are people in an office somewhere else making decisions. Okay, so can we talk about the Google thing? Okay.
So that was the second thing that they did to me.
Okay.
The first thing that they did to me was my doctor.
Yeah.
They attempted to poach her. They sent her a handwritten letter.
What?
Yeah. Telling her, we heard what you're doing over at Little Urban. Why don't you come over and be our medical director? Yeah. Then they sent her a branded Stanley Cup.
They asked me to come back and be the medical director.
It's because of the turnover.
Yeah.
And so I told her, she calls me, she tells me, I'm like, I'll buy you a Stanley Cup. I'm like, please don't leave. She was like, I'm not leaving. She was like, there's no way. I just wanted you to know they're recruiting me. And so I reached out to who was the primary doctor over there who was leaving at that time. You probably know her. And she used to be the owner.
Yeah, I worked for her.
Yeah. And she said it wasn't her. She said it was her boss. Who knows? So I said, okay. And so I was like, ugh. And then I found out that
the Google thing. This is definitely on purpose. Okay, tell the people what the Google thing. So
there was a hyperlink that said Little Urban Vet Clinic. The first thing that if you type in Little Urban Vet Clinic, the very first thing at the very top, a sponsored ad, was a hyperlink that said Little Urban Vet Clinic, but it would take you to their website. And it was
so that's like definitely an intentional thing. Like you have to pay Google to do that. You have to pay Google
to do that. It's not an accident. I went ballistic. So
I remember.
I was like, and
I tagged them in your comments. I was like, excuse me.
So I did hear back from corporate. They took it down immediately.
So basically they admitted they did it.
They admitted they did it. We're sorry. It was an accident. It wasn't.
How
but they
is that
did
an accident?
Right. They were just riding the wave until I recognized it. No telling how long it was there.
Yeah.
Because it was just at a randomly last year. It's like,
Yeah, that I when I saw
and
that,
so
I was like,
what is the issue? So it's things like that. It's just they have the budget to do these sponsored ads and do those kind of things and be a little underhanded about it. And so
that's so shady.
It's so shady. And I'm like, my little baby clinic over here minding our own business.
Yeah.
We don't want any smoke.
Doing really great things
in your
community.
In the community, for the community. Come on. Do your thing over there.
Yeah, I knew when we were sat down that we would end up talking about this. And I told Ranetta, I was like, we have to be careful because I don't want to just like dog on corporate practice in general because it isn't all bad.
There's great people there for sure.
Yes, but
it's the challenge of competing,
right? Because they can pay people at least at first, and they offer big signing bonuses, but
the pay is actually not that great.
Yeah, well,
they woo you with the sign-on bonus. Yeah,
but a lot of people don't realize that the bonus has a clawback. So any corporate I've worked for or talked to, that's the deal. Yeah, you have to stay a certain amount of time to keep that bonus or whatever. And I do think like it's important for pet owners to know that like
there's options.
And really I think for me the message is if you're concerned about the cost of your pet's care at the practice you go to. And you're unhappy because of changes or the cost or whatever in the practice you go to, it might be a corporately owned practice. You might want to find that out because it's not always obvious.
Right.
It might not be. But if it is and you're unhappy, then our advice would be find a locally owned practice that practices in the same way. Because one good thing about corporate practice, I would say, is that most of their standards as far as like the medicine that is being practiced is at a good level across the board. And they expect that from their doctors. There's no entity that says all veterinarians have to practice good medicine. And so you can definitely find private practices where subpar medicine is being practiced.
Yes.
So you have to figure that out. But you can find practices like Little Urban that are offering high quality medicine, but being creative and keeping prices reasonable and the bosses in the building.
Yeah.
And so, finding a locally owned private practice that practices good medicine is really what I think we would encourage someone to do.
For sure.
And it's not like, find out if you're happy at your vet, find out if it's corporate and leave. Like, no, if you're happy and you can afford the cost, like, great, stay there.
Stay there.
Especially if there's a vet that you love. They're not. They're just a vet. And that's where they work.
They're just doing their job wherever they are.
Yeah. But it is, big picture long term for pet owners and the profession in general. We need private practice to stay alive. We need both. We need both. And
there's a place for corporate.
Yes.
There's a place. I feel like there's a place for the Banfields.
Yeah.
Or the value vets.
Yes.
In a sense of when I say price.
Right. And giving those options.
Yeah. But as far as some of the others in the way, I have mixed views about this.
That's okay. That's why you're here and we're talking about it.
It's just tough. It's kind of hard. Like, it's hard because you want to, there's certain things you can't compete on and I don't try to, but other things it's kind of like, pet parents expect you to compete on those things.
Yep.
And it's just like, I physically cannot.
Yeah.
And so that's hard to make people understand.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think one good thing that I think is a trend is that there are more and more women veterinarians who are starting or buying practices and owning them privately. And I love my men veterinarian friends. So this is nothing against them, but that's primarily who has owned vet practices for a long, long time.
Yes.
And so first the field became more women than men. And now practice ownership is shifting, and it's becoming more equal. More women are owning practices.
Yes.
And I think it's just an important perspective as business owners and bosses.
Yes.
And I think we have this great ability to be compassionate and creative, but also run a business.
Yes.
And pay people to have their lives too.
And consider the fact that we want our employees to have the type of lives that we want for ourselves.
Yeah.
So if they want to have children and be a part of their lives, we want that for them too. We're not going to intervene in that.
Right.
Or
support that.
Support that. If they just the other day I had a staff member working and he had both his kids at work in the break room.
Yeah.
And they're just in there listening to, you know, super kitties.
Yeah.
So
do you follow Dr. Christine Staten, Vet MBA? Okay, so you will. After this, you need to.
Okay,
She's a great friend of mine. She owns a practice in Arizona. She bought it a long time ago. Single doctor ambulatory mixed practice. She now has 10 vets.
Wow.
2 buildings, large and small animal.
That's amazing.
And she just a couple of weeks ago opened a childcare facility in her
major.
practice.
Her staff will never leave.
Yeah. Well, she said she spoke at a conference this last week and was talking about it. She said most of her techs with kids left after they had a second child or were leaving because it didn't financially make sense to pay for 2 kids in daycare and go to work as a tech. It made more sense to just stay home with the kids. And so she's like, I want them to be able to do the job they love and have money. And so she literally built out a childcare room. And she has the staff and everybody can bring their kids to work for free. So goals.
Yes.
Isn't that so cool?
Yes. Yeah. And that's amazing. I love that. And that's so creative. And that's a passion of hers.
Yeah.
And
that's only a woman veterinary business owner would think to do that.
Yeah. Unfortunately, yes.
I mean, maybe not. I don't speak in extremes, but I doubt. I mean, that's very unique and creative and new and innovative. And she won't be the last one to do it because me or you is going to do it now because it's such one day because it's such a good idea.
It's such a good idea.
Yeah.
And it's just, you have it's funny when you're first starting your business, you have all these ideas of what your business will be.
Yeah.
And then I'm 5 years in, I'm like, okay, do I still have I have to do a mental check and say, do I still feel those goals? Do I feel like I still want to do those things? What is next for me? So you start to consider those things. So that's interesting to have these ideas and okay, well, what do I want to do next?
Yeah.
What, I'm still young. How can I continue to do something different and be innovative and be, interesting and still keep the lights on. What can I do?
So much balance. And it's another great thing I think about social media. There's a lot of bad things about it, but it's cool that
I
you
struggle
can see
with social media. I love it, and then I don't know how to do it.
Oh, I'll help you.
I have a staff member. She does. Her name's Amira. She does all my social media. Yeah. And so
I was gonna say because what y'all post is good.
And now she does it. Yeah. And she's like, oh, this is what. The other day she came up to me. She's like, I got this song. You're gonna have to learn the lyrics to. I said, okay.
Oh, to lip sync?
Yeah, to lip sync.
Did you do it yet?
I didn't do it yet, but usually we'll do stuff like that, projects like that she has for me. I'll do them on Thursdays.
I should come make content with y'all. It'd be really fun.
Oh my goodness.
We should do that.
We should.
It'd
that
really
would be fun. But we don't have a setup. It's just a phone.
Yeah. Oh, well, you don't need a setup. Yeah. This is just for the podcast. My phone does everything else. Yeah. So you don't need anything fancy.
Yeah.
I gave a lecture about social media and vet med last week. I said, all you need is a phone. Yeah. That's all you need.
And you have to have I can tell you're better at this than me just from sitting here with you. The facial expressions, your energy. No. I'm trying to.
You're doing great. She told me she was worried I'm not going to look happy while I'm talking, but I think you look just so happy. Happy as a clam on the couch over here.
Okay, good.
Okay, so we're going to run out of time, but I have a very important question to ask you.
Okay.
I ask this everybody that comes to talk. If you were a dog, what breed would you be? Or breeds. It can be multiple.
Okay. So I think I'm going to be multiple breeds.
Okay.
I am my favorite dog, which my staff members love that this is my favorite dog because they're scared of them. It's German Shepherds. I grew up with German Shepherds. I identify with German Shepherds because I feel like they can actually be quite predictable in what they're going to do. They're not, they're going to
be ridiculous.
Predictably protective and out of control.
Uh-huh.
And so I feel like that
Okay.
I identify with that in my like a base level of my personality.
Okay. Mhm.
But on the other side of me,
Yeah.
I can be really fun and lighthearted, dopey, just kind of like, where's my cell phone? You know, and that's like Labrador-ish.
Yeah.
Just kind of goofy, fun, squirrel.
Maybe
you
like
know.
Bernese-ish. Are you a Bernese Mountain Dog?
Maybe I
That
am.
just came to me.
That because they just
Because they're kind of both of those things.
they can be really calm. They can have fun. They can be playful. They can just be.
But they're derpy too.
They're derpy too. Yeah, so
But I like the German Shepherd Lab mix.
Yeah, I'm a German Shepherd Lab mix, but
you say maybe Springer too?
I might. So that was my first thought, Springer Spaniel, because I can be extremely like if you've ever seen the TikToks at my staff posts that are just
I gotta go back.
funny things about what does Dr. Perkins do, and it's always random things knocking over. I will knock over anything.
Okay,
anything and everything. So
you're clumsy.
Clumsy.
I think you're a Bernese Mountain Dog.
Okay, I might be a Bernese Mountain Dog.
Not to type you, not to dog breed you.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely. So it's kind of like, and that a lot of times. Okay, this is off topic, but it's on topic.
I love it.
So I have a lot of students that come in. So there'll be vet students.
Yep.
Occasionally vet students. It's mostly college students that want to be veterinarians. Who spend a lot of time with me.
That.
And some of them, I don't ever tell anyone they don't have what it takes, but some people have what it takes more than others.
Fair.
And so I always say it's not just becoming a veterinarian is not just loving animals or being smart or being smart about animals. It has to be, you have to enjoy, like if they're in the rooms with me and they're not enjoying that, it's not for them. No. I had a guy come.
Maybe lab animal.
Yeah, maybe. Hey, lab animal medicine.
Let's go into industry. The world is your oyster. You can do so many things.
There's so many things you can do.
But they maybe don't need to be a GP.
Yeah, they don't need to be a GP. Yeah. So if someone's going to be strictly a German Shepherd, it might not be a perfect fit for them.
Yeah. German Shepherds don't make good vets.
But a lot of vets can have that type A like underneath them. They can be very perfectionist driven where, teachers pet as kids, like that kind of stuff. Totally. And so you have to stretch your personality. Yeah.
Yes.
To your inner Labrador.
It's funny being in vet school, isn't it? Because you look around at all these 100 classmates or whatever, and you're like, trying to picture certain personalities, like doing what we do. I mean, even, I had worked in the GP before vet school as an assistant, which was another really good thing I did before vet school. But like, I was looking around like, how is that person with that personality going to sit in a room with a client who's crying because they're euthanizing their pet and like be able to comfort them? It's interesting because you're right. It isn't just loving animals or being smart.
Yeah, and me going to an Ivy League vet school, I'm really, really
lots of smart people.
Lots of super smart people. Yeah. And they, we'll see how that's worked out. But it's not just about that. Yeah. And so it's just like all the things.
Oh, and some people say like, oh, I became a vet because I don't like people. That was not the right choice. You have to like people.
Oh my gosh, so many people.
Yes. I love, because I'm a
people person. Yes. Super people person. Love the people.
I'm sure you love, like you're friends with your clients. Yes. You know what's happening in their life.
Very social. I want to know, how are you? What's going on? What's happened? They tell us their business. We're all involved.
I love it. Yeah. So basically you need to find a vet like Dr. Ranetta Perkins in a clinic like Little Urban Vet Clinic.
So sweet.
Okay, so how can people find you? I'm going to include, when we post this, we're going to set up an Angel account, and I'm going to post links for it so that you can contribute to that.
Oh, the Unhoused community will thank you deeply.
Yes, and we'll think of a better name than Angel Fund. But and then otherwise, how can people find you? Local people who maybe want to come be your client. Tell us how they find you.
Well, I'm located at 64 Hermitage Avenue, Nashville, Tennessee. It's just up from downtown. First Avenue turns into Hermitage, coming up the hill out of downtown. And you can find me on Instagram, Little Urban Vet Clinic. You can find me on TikTok, Little Urban Vet Nashville, and Facebook, Little Urban Vet Clinic.
Okay, thank you all for listening and watching. This has been another episode of the Dr. Molly Says podcast. You can find me at Dr. Molly Says, and the podcast page is Dr. Molly Says Pod. Subscribe. We are on YouTube. If you're listening to this, you can watch it. And I will see you next week on the Dr. Molly Says podcast.
Thank you
Bye.
for having me.